In this tutorial we'll have a look at modelling up this aluminium key tag complete with a little bit of string. You're going to need the drawing with the dimensions on. Let's bring the dimensions up on my screen here to help. And you'll start a new document, and in the Part Studio you'll see that there are three planes, a top, a front and a right. Let's hide the right by clicking on the little eye icon, and we'll also hide the front. And the top plane is the plane that we're going to start our sketch on. Let's start a sketch and select the top plane. Then we'll right click and select View Normal To. That orientates it so we can look straight down, which makes drawing our sketch a little bit easier. We'll pan the view around and start our sketch. We'll start with a rectangle. And let's make it 35 millimeters across and 55 millimeters down. Now currently the rectangle, let's press escape. The rectangle is floating in space, so we can move it anywhere around. So let's constrain the middle of this bottom line here onto the origin, this little dot. So we'll select both of them and then we'll choose this midpoint option here. So we've now got essentially a rectangle, just like we did when we were drawing the shape, and we need to create some construction. Let's create some circles down the bottom here, and at the top here, and the circle for the hole, and that can help us construct the shape. So let's start with this hole. We'll use the circle tool, and we'll create a circle with a diameter of 5. Let's use the dimension tool to place the center of that. 17.5 away from the edge and from the top, 5 millimeters. To help us in a bit, we're going to create a line going from the center. You'll notice the little square appears there at the center to the center, and then we're going to press escape to come out of it, and we'll select the line and then use this option up here to turn it into what we call a construction line. We're going to use that later to mirror some of our sketch on the other side to save us drawing it twice. Let's now focus on this section down the left. Let's create a circle with a diameter of 10, because it's got a radius of 5, and then we'll dimension that to make it 5 millimeters from the base and 5 millimeters from the edge. That's going to form this radius down the bottom later. Let's also do one up the top here. Diameter of 10, and then we'll dimension it from the top edge, 5 and 10 millimeters from the left edge. Now if we can see here, we've got a little line there which would extend all the way across if we were doing our construction. So let's draw a line across the drawing and turn it into construction. You'll notice that when I come near horizontal, it snaps to being horizontal. And then we'll use the dimension tool, 25. So now I'm going to draw this line over here. So it comes from the end of that line we've just drawn up to the edge of the circle, and there's a specific word used to describe how it attaches to the circle, and we call it its tangent to the circle. So in a minute we're going to use this little constraint to apply that relationship. So let's start the line and finish the line somewhere on the circle. Press escape, and then we'll select both the line and the circle, and when we choose the tangent option, what it will do is it will adjust the line like this. So now that line here is flowing naturally to the outside of that circular edge. Now we've drawn half of this sketch. Let's quickly draw the other half by using the mirror option. We'll select the mirror tool. It's going to ask us to select a mirror line. Let's choose this construction line we made earlier. And now select the entities to be mirrored. Well, let's mirror this circle and that line and this circle. And we'll call that done. So we'll press escape. So now we've got our shapes. We can now either delete the lines we don't want, or in the next phase we can use the extrude tool to create a three-dimensional shape. Let's just go straight to the extrude tool. We'll click OK to select our sketch. We'll rotate the view around a little bit, and let's use the extrude tool here. Now it's going to ask us to select the faces or sketch regions. Now because we've got some enclosed shapes, we can select as many as we wish in order to complete the overall shape. We can select, add and remove sections to create a solid shape. We also want this to be extruded the other way, so let's click and drag this arrow down so it's coming below the plane, and we'll give it a dimension of 3 millimeters. Happy with that. So we've now made the main body of our key tag. Let's now look at adding some lettering. Let's create a new sketch on the surface, and we'll right click and select View Normal To. We'll just pan it across a little bit, and then we'll use the text tool. Let's draw a rectangle, and we'll type in our initials. At the moment that's quite big, but as soon as we introduce some dimensions it will resize the text. Let's put a dimension between this edge here and the edge of the lettering. Let's make it say 3, and we'll do the same the other side. That should center the text in our design. Let's press escape. Because it's only constrained on the left and right, we can still drag part of it, move it up and down. For this case, let's just make it look right. Let's go about there, and we'll click OK. So if we rotate our view around now, we can see we've got our text sketch drawn on the top, and the other sketch is hidden, because once we create an extrusion it hides the previous sketch. And just like other parts of our design, we can hide and show these features. But let's take this sketch here and extrude it. Rather than creating material, let's remove material. So we'll use the extrude tool. We'll select the different parts of the lettering. 1, 2, 3. Now clearly we don't want that, so let's come in reverse, and rather than adding, let's remove material. It's gone a bit too far. Let's go 0.1. Let's go 0.2 millimeters. Maybe a bit more. Let's go 0.5. That looks better. We'll OK that. Now, because of the way that the 3D CAD works, any point we can come back into our extrude, for example, and edit it. Let's say we want it to be more or less. Let's go to 0.4 instead, and that will be updated in our design. So we've now got some letters. We've got our main shape. Let's have a little go at creating a bit of string. Now, in order to draw that bit of string, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the right plane. So I'm going to turn on the right plane and turn off the top plane, visibility, just so we can see it. And let's draw a sketch on this plane. Let's draw a sketch on the right plane, and let's view normal to. And let's zoom in a little bit. Now I want to draw this sketch. It's going through the hole here, and I can't see that hole at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and change the view, and choose hidden edges visible. Let's try that one there. There we go. So we should see the little grey outside of that circle there. So let's use the spline tool to create a bit of a curved shape that comes all the way through and then joins up to create a complete shape. That's going to be essentially the path that our string is going to follow. So now we've got the path for the string, we now need to make that a bit thicker. So we're going to create another sketch. This time let's create it on the top plane. So we'll sketch on the top plane, and let's just create a center circle. Oh, there's the fire alarm going off. We'll continue this another time. And we're back from the fire alarm. Let's continue where we left off. So what we're going to do now is let's just go into this sketch. If you're not already in it, just right click and edit. This is the sketch for this circle, which will be the profile that we're going to sweep all the way around this other sketch. So what we need to do is we need to locate the center of this circle profile onto this sketch around the outside here. So to do that, we're going to click on the center, and then we'll click on the outside of the profile sketch, and we'll choose an option up here that is called pierce. There it is, pierce over here. That will move it so that now pierces that sketch, i.e. they both line up. Let's make that sketch a little bit smaller, about 2 millimeters. So we'll select the dimension tool and we'll turn that into a 2 millimeter diameter circle. So now we've got our profile sketch and our cross-section sketch. We can now come out of our sketch tool and use the sweep option. We're going to create a new solid. This is the sketch region to sweep, and then the path is going to be this one here, and we can see now it creates a long swept shape. Let's click OK, and we've now got R2. Now that looks a bit big to me, so what I want to do is actually edit the original sketch. So let's edit this sketch, and we can drag around some of these nodes until we are happy with the shape. Let's bring it up a little bit there. Let's make it kind of flex around there. That's quite nice. And we can kind of preview what it's going to look like by clicking on this final option. So we can see that's what it's going to look like. And actually now we can kind of click and drag, and it might, there we go, it regenerates it, which is quite a clever feature of this CAD software. So we just rechange that profile there. We've now got a bit of string. We've got our key chain and our initials. So the final thing to do now is just do a little bit of renaming. So down here we can see we've got two parts. We've got part 1, which is our main part, and part 2, which is our string. Because they don't touch when they were created, they are two separate parts, and we can turn them on and off visibility wise by clicking on these two eyes. Let's right click and rename this as the keychain, key fob name tag. Let's call it a name tag. And the other one, let's rename that to string. To make it even more realistic, let's add a little bit of colour, and to do that we're going to use over here the appearance panel. Let's get that out of the way there. So we'll select the appearance panel, and we can see already, because we've renamed our parts here, we've got name tag and string as two separate appearances. If we double click in the colour, we can then choose a colour. Let's choose a grey colour for the aluminium name tag, and let's double click. Oops, sorry. We obviously need to click on accept, click on OK, and we'll double click on the string and choose a colour. Let's go for a nice pink purpley colour, very nice. And to make it even better, what we'll do is we'll change the surface of the initials to another colour as well. To do that, we can select by clicking. Now if you accidentally select something you don't want to, just press spacebar and that will clear the entire selection, and we can start again. So let's do those, and let's add a face appearance for those three faces. Let's also make them a kind of a nice call this aqua colour. I'm not sure what you call this, but it's a nice colour anyway. We can always go back into that and change it to a different colour, slightly darker I think, like so, and then we'll hide the appearance panel. And over here let's just click on this very top right edge of this cube just to change the view, and press F on our keyboard. Nope, F. No, that should fill the screen. It doesn't. Anyway, let's look at those keyboard shortcuts another time. But here we have our finished aluminium key tag. Isn't that beautiful? So hopefully you've learned how to use Onshape to create basic shape by creating a sketch, using an extrusion, and using the sweep tool. For more tutorials, please check the D&T homepage.